Take off! It's time for Doug and Ben's Great NASCAR Adventure!
Awesome. Welcome to NasCanucks. I'm Ben. He's Doug. Well, we've got breaking news today that only broke 10 and a half hours ago. But, hey, I just woke up and he was already busy doing something else and forgot to watch it too. But, hey, yes. Should we go right into the breaking news first or should we?
I think you're the musician. You can just kind of go right into that Randy Travis song, I think.
You mean we called it yet again?
We were like the frickin' groundhog. 6 weeks ago, we called it, and it happens.
Yep. So for Keith Campbell, and we got Trev in here, Symmetry in the chat. Yes, official announcement this morning.
And the only thing I don't like is Dale Jr. took credit for it.
Yeah. Well, no, he was going, it wasn't me, because he gets so embarrassed about stuff. But
maybe Mike Davis watches the show, got a little mixed up with us.
Well, and this is true. Dale, Doug, I get it. Well, and in typical fashion, Richard Childress let the cat all the way out of the bag before they turned on the microphone, because when Richard Childress Racing announces a 10 a.m. press conference at the NASCAR Hall of Fame with the dais set up and the microphones and the digitals and stuff, you don't let Kyle Busch sit out there alone for 10 minutes.
No, Childress didn't. I don't think it was Childress. Kyle, because I seen all in Kyle Busch's stuff that he was having a press conference at 10 a.m. at the NASCAR Hall of Fame.
Well, see, I heard it as Richard Childress Racing was holding a press conference at the NASCAR Hall of Fame. Again, crossed wires, and so... Yeah, so, Kyle's sitting out there for, I don't know, an hour. I don't know what it was exactly, but he's sitting out there and the press is like, sup, Kyle? He's like, can't say yet. Just wait. So, officially now, Kyle Busch will be driving the 8 car next year. So, Tyler Reddick out of the 8 a year early. But wait. Richard Childress Racing expanding to a 3-car operation next year. That's the announcement as of now.
Yep.
Now, again, it was funny because the live portion of the Ask Dale Jr. on YouTube this morning was concurrent. So they were live reacting to the press conference. And Dale Jr. said there is no way that Tyler Reddick will be driving for Richard Childress Racing in the Daytona 500 this coming year.
No.
So the reason they had to say, because they can't, the 2311's announcement, hey, we got them a year early. So as of now, Tyler Reddick's driving a 3rd car for Richard Childress Racing.
What I've also, on the weekend, I also heard, look for Reddick to possibly be in a Colleague car next year. For that 1 year, because Colleague is a satellite team of RCR.
Yeah, along with Petty GMS.
Yeah, so he could possibly go over to the...
However, by this afternoon, multiple reports that RC is in fact actively searching to purchase a 3rd charter.
Well, that's been out there for a while.
Yeah.
So we know that Colleague wants another charter. RC was looking for another charter. 2311 is looking for another charter, as well as Dale Jr.
Yeah. There's a lot of people looking for charters that aren't for sale. Also, that's right. I was going to get to that, Keith. Easy. Keith's excited. I bet you he's doing scissor kicks like Eddie Van Halen over this. Also, Richard Childress Racing did, in fact, sign a contract with Brexton. So Brexton now has a signed contract under the belt, which is kind of cool. I don't know if it was development deal or what the deal was. He's getting paid in M&Ms. Probably not, but, he's like, no, I'm good. I've had my fill of M&Ms, RC. I'm good. You know,
So is that RC one-upping the napkin contract
that
that was
is
signed by Dale Jr. with Hendrick Motorsports?
yes. Yep. Yeah. See, now RC probably wish he did that with Dale Jr. when he re-signed Dale at some point.
Yes.
Right.
So we also talked about that Dale Jr. had an issue with one of the things that came out of the conference today. I think it was the wrong thing that he should have taken issue with.
Hmm.
But as we talked about, that you had said he doesn't think that Kyle should be running the 8.
Right. Yeah, because Kyle Busch has had a long relationship with the 51 number. That's been his go-to number if the corporate 18 isn't available, for corporate reasons, because he'll do that. Hey, hey, he's running at Brighton Speedway this weekend. They'll paint up an 18 M&M's car, right?
Yeah.
But he's like, no, throw the 51 on her. I'm partial to that. They call me Rowdy. So Dale said he should have done the 51 instead of the 8 and make that number his own, or continue to make it its own, because it really doesn't have a history in cup racing much.
No. The other thing was, well, for me, with that number is that he actually drove the 54 in Xfinity. That's why the one Gibbs car is the 54 that Ty Gibbs is in.
Yes, because 51 was already owned by Johnny Davis Racing, because they'd do the 15 and 51s. Or it could have been Jeremy Clements, because he would flirt with 53, 51, 53, 51. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, not available. That's how the 54 came into existence. Because he had always run the 51 in the truck series for years, when he was running, even for, Billy Blue Racing, way back when. Because they ran the 15 as the primary truck with, Travis Kvapil, and then the 51 with a young Kyle Busch. Full head of hair even. No kids, nothing.
Well, a couple things that Keith said. Keith's saying the biggest thing is no future for TRD's development program. We kind of talked a bit about that off air, as to which truck members for Kyle Busch for KBM.
Yeah. No, there's no problem with TRD's development in the truck series. They'll just go, ThorSport, hey. And they're like, hey, we already got 4.5 teams, right?
Yeah.
Good. So, Rick Ware Racing will not sell their charter because they have that. We do IndyCar and NASCAR. They are a big operation. They're.
There is a couple teams that have an extra charter that's just floating out there that they lease to other teams.
Yes.
So there is a couple that are floating out there.
Yes. So getting into the racing action of the weekend, all 3 top NASCAR series running, as well as the season finale for IndyCar out in Laguna Seca, Corkscrew. Yes.
I want to say we did not see the ARCA race, correct?
It was not televised. No idea who won.
Didn't record on my end, so.
Yeah. I don't think it was televised.
Yeah, so.
For some dumb reason.
Covering
trucks. Same guys.
I think the theme of the weekend was, if you like cautions, you hated this weekend.
Well, unless it's for, as usual, for the 3rd, 4th week in a row, for rain, at least one race was affected by rain. We did see intermittent cloud activity around. So the trucks were running. It was the cutoff race of round 1 of the truck series. Had to keep my eyes on Stuart Friesen. I'm like, please just don't blow up. You've had a couple good first races. You're looking good. And man, guys were dicing it up.
There was a time where he was out.
Only briefly.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, there was a time.
Yeah, like 3 or 4 laps.
Yep.
Due to cyclings.
Yep.
Because it just happened. Because he was hanging on the lead lap most of. That's where he was, back of the lead lap, and then he would pit, and the guy he's fighting within the points went, you know what? I'm staying out. I'm going to lead some laps. They're like, that doesn't pay off anything anymore. He goes, I don't care. Feel like doing it. Going to do it.
There
wasn't much in the way of shenanigans.
No,
there wasn't
Dominic dominant truck of the day was John Hunter Nemechek.
Yep.
Hard luck truck of the night.
Again, how many times have we said that this year? Carson Hocevar. How? First of all, is Carson like? I know he's a tall kid, but when the steering column, your knees are above the steering column. Like when he drives, I was like, "Can you move the seat back for a fella?" Because I should not be able to see the steering column under the knee. Is what I'm saying. Like I was like, "How? How? It's like you're not driving a sprint car."
No.
Like, move the pedals out. Like, relax, buddy. You ever see Dale Earnhardt? He eases it on back. You're all up in here. You're just like curled up in a ball with a steering wheel. Like, I don't get it.
Yeah.
Don't get it.
Yeah, hard luck. He went from in the next round.
Yep.
To not making it within half a lap.
Yeah, because they thought, oh no, you can still finish second. Maybe not.
No, because Eckes that passed a whole bunch of trucks?
Yeah, Eckes said, I'm putting on a new set of feel goods under the last caution. And he made up all the positions that he needed to. Which, good on him, because he had his truck was kind of inconsistent. It was good, but not great.
Yep.
And then it was okay. And then loose. You heard a lot loose. Everybody was loose all weekend. Everybody was loose. So yeah, and then John Hunter Nemechek won the race.
Yep.
Which okay,
last lap pass, and then
and he earned it because he was giving her like.
Oh yeah, well he was like 7 seconds back.
Yeah, exactly. And they're fighting through traffic and this and that. Shades of a couple days later, in many ways.
Well, and the interviews, the post race, especially with Carson Hocevar, because. How many times has he been second place this year?
Yeah. And surprising, he did not cry.
But he did say that he thinks that he will be the bridesmaid at his own wedding. With how many second places he's had.
But you know what? It's a sign of good things to come. Just ask Matt Crafton, ask Kyle Larson. There's a lot of guys. Daniel Suarez, a lot of seconds. So nothing wrong with that.
Then how about Christian Eckes throwing a bit of shade on Nemechek? So I don't know if you've seen that one there. Everybody's like, he wrecked us a lot this year, but thanks for him, he won the race today because it got us in.
Yeah. True. So and so that would bring us into the Xfinity race, which. I don't know. They're going to start the playoffs at some point, but I just don't know when. It seems, I don't know. They keep turning laps, and
trucks have already eliminated 2 people.
Man, I tell you, the Xfinity guys, I know there's a lot of people that move up to Xfinity from trucks, but they were doing truck type racing. Hey, Guitar Man 45, and the fact that in the trucks we saw 3 kind of hinting at 4 wide. Xfinity, fuck it, we're going 5 wide. Every restart, they were using all the track. When they're running 2 wide, both on the apron, stuff like that, and a lot of hard racing, a lot tempers, patience, none, across the board, and I don't know, Gregson had a fast car and. He had to be leading when all the rain came down, which
they threw the caution even before the rain. It's like they said in the broadcast. They learned at Daytona.
Yeah. There was a couple drops on the other side of the parking lot. They went close enough, and they called it, because it ended up opening up shortly thereafter. Anyway,
well, they're all the drivers let's keep going.
Yeah.
So once they got done the second stage, Noah's like, there's a lot of rain on the backstretch.
Yeah. And, and I think both, because we had some shenanigans right before the caution for the rain with Gibbs and Allgaier, and they were they're like, yeah, we're okay with the rain because I don't think we can continue really. Yeah. So
well, and you know what? And I liked both of their interviews where Justin was like, you know what? I think we're going to, I think we're both confused on what happened.
Yeah.
Right? Because he's like, I passed him. I put my hand out the window, going like, I don't know what's going on. He came back up to him and he put his hand out like he doesn't know what's going on. Right, so he's like, we're gonna have a talk, and then they went to Ty Gibbs, and Ty was like, you know what? I watched that over again, and I thought I did more damage to myself. I thought he moved me up, and I did more damage myself. That's why I came down on him.
I hope Ty Gibbs' interview was sincere, because if not, he's doing a great Ross Chastain impersonation. That's why I was hoping it was sincere.
I want to say with that family, I don't think that an interview like that would be insincere with that family.
Right. Well, that's what I'm hoping. Yeah, because he did. Yeah, he told me. He goes, "Oh man, I saw the replay. I thought he totally threw me in the wall, and it turns out I just scuffed it, and I totally overreacted, and I need to go over to apologize to him."
I think he even named like the janitor at Junior Motorsports.
Oh, I know. He apologized to everybody over there. Even like I think he apologized to Mike Davis. Mike's like, "You don't need to. I don't actually work for the team. I work for the media company. Like, it's okay."
Yeah.
So and then we watched Noah Gragson walk in the garage, out of the garage, because they had the most pitiful, hey, in case it rains setup. It's like a card table.
Well, did you see first when Noah first starts walking? Junior Motorsports had issues with their umbrellas because like there was a couple guys like umbrellas like just flying out. I think it was like backwards and what's with Noah like walking out with the umbrella like 3 feet above his head. Like even Junior was like, that ain't doing nothing.
The ring coming sideways and he's holding it at arm's length. The man has clearly never held an umbrella in his life. He's gone from mommy holding one over him to some person that gets paid a lot of money to tolerate him on a daily basis holding one over him.
Yeah.
You can tell.
It turned into...
Actually, you know what it is? You know why he doesn't know how to hold an umbrella? He grew up in Las Vegas. I'll give him that benefit.
Yeah.
It works the same against the sun, Noah.
Yeah. It turned into like a 20-minute Noah Gragson reality show.
Yeah, he did a great tour of the garage area.
A confused tour.
Well, yeah, and then finally a friend showed up after 15 minutes. He goes, "Hey, do you want to go drive around in the car?" And he's like, "Really? I'm pretty sure you're not allowed to do that, but fuck it, okay." Yeah. And then the official's like, "What are you doing?" And he's like, "Well, buddy's going to go out and do some burnouts in the car." And they're like, "He's not a licensed NASCAR driver.
No, and
you can't just put anybody off the street in a car." And he goes, "All right, well, I'll do burnouts." They're like, "It's pouring rain. You're going to do steam outs at best."
Well, you can hear the officials say, "No, you've got to push the car back."
Yeah. Like, no.
And he's like, "Okay, well, we'll go climb the fence."
Yeah. No, you're going to put 2 feet in the fence. That's not climbing the fence.
But and as we talked about off air, I think comment of the post race, Dale Jr. Well, at least we're not going to see him get sick in his interview.
Right.
But then Tilletart say, "Let's give him a minute. He's not done yet."
Exactly.
So there's two things. We didn't see Noah get sick, and there was no chest hair.
Right. Yeah, thankfully. Yeah. And it was weird. And then they're trying to interview him, and he's like, "Oh, no, I got to go." No, you do an interview on network TV, dum-dum.
Yeah.
You thank your sponsors, you thank your owner, thank the track, thank NASCAR. Compare the speed of your car to the internet speed from Xfinity, because that's kind of, you're supposed to do that. So, yeah, whatever. So, yeah, Noah Gragson wins a rain-shortened race. Go ahead, hate him on social media for winning a rain-shortened race, because that's what apparently you do in social media.
Yes.
Someone has to win the rain-shortened races, folks. Just saying. So that brings us, let's skip out to California quick.
Okay.
Because, they started...
I'll just take a drink from my NASCAR Hall of Fame.
They started at about the same time, but they finished faster because they don't have fenders to slow the cars down, apparently. I don't know. So the Indy cars, we had 4 or 5 drivers apparently going into the weekend mathematically able to win the race. Well, it was kind of a non-story, Doug, by the drop of the green flag. Why? Well, the points leader, Will Power, gets a point for winning the pole. All right. And everybody else started like 15th on back. They had all the issues. So other than having an extra set of sticker reds in the pits, hey, because we weren't part of the Fast 12, normally that's a great thing. But when you drop the green and the reds last 5 laps and everyone's going, it's icy, to the point where oh wow, it was a clinic. Like the crew in the booth, they couldn't figure it out because Scott Dixon ran the rain line the whole race because the track is so worn out that it's like, because we see it on oval racing on worn out tracks, guys run odd lines because it's fresher asphalt, and you could tell that's what Scott Dixon was doing, and he made up some spots, but then Penske, hey, they're obvious about it in that series, Doug. Will Power, the anointed one this year, okay? Mm-hmm. So immediately, what's his name? Scott McLaughlin. You do whatever Dixon does. You shadow him, you block, you do whatever you got to do. Okay. Newgarden, starting at the back. Yeah, but I'm in title contention. They're like, we don't care. To the point where, Doug, at early stages of the race, they had him pull over and let Will Power get by him. Because if you're, he won't be competitive. All of a sudden, a little bit of strategies here and there, and some good lap times. All of a sudden, at one point, Will Power's leading. Newgarden comes out of the pits 20 seconds back, and he's just shaving off 2 seconds a lap. Second and a half, 2 seconds, second and a half. It was Newgarden was leading the race at one point, and he just kept getting passed by Newgarden several times during the race. And Miguel Palou, a Ganassi driver, possibly McCarran next year. We don't know. That's where he's still signed to 2 teams. We don't know what's going on there. Well, yeah. They let it be known because he's leading the race. Well, let's talk about him because he hasn't won all year and he's got all the drama and the rumors and the gossip. Well, apparently, old Chip, being, he's never seen a check he didn't like, said, yeah, you can have Palou drive for y'all next year. You got to pay me $10 million. And I swear he only came up with that number because it's car number 10. Because most of those IndyCar drivers ain't making no $10 million a year. Like, you are basically saying, I want you to finance my entire operation next year. That was the other thing. Newgarden, 3 times over the course of 5 laps. I'm just going to dive bomb going in the corkscrew. I don't care. That's my passing zone. People are like, you don't pass here. He's like, I do. Mm-hmm. So, yeah. So, Palou won the race. Will won the title. Man, Will Power's wife, she makes Kim Burton look like a rock of sanity in the pits. I'll tell you that. Like, she's holding hands, watching the race on the phone, freaking out, wearing the sunglasses because of the crying, and then they pulled the kid out of the bus at the end of the race. The kid wasn't there with 5 to go, and all of a sudden someone got the kid out of bed. Hey, your dad's about to win a title. He's like, what's happening? I do not understand this. And so, yeah, at age 41, Will Power wins his 2nd title, joining a list of people that have won 2 titles in IndyCar. So there we are. Back to Kansas. Cup Series. All 36 charters starting the race. No non-charter teams decided to make the trip out to Kansas. And we had a bit of an interesting starting lineup, Doug. The all-usual suspects weren't starting up front. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't because, like Chase Elliott failed Tech 14 times as usual and stuff like that. But him and Kyle Busch were both, or Kyle Larson, starting at the back or near the back or something to the back. Maybe. Yeah. But it was a good race.
I think so, yeah.
And I kind of like the fact because the way NBC does it, they do a little line, here's the chase guys.
Yeah. And
I like the fact that since the playoffs have started, we see 3 of the top 10 are not playoff drivers at any given time.
Yes.
Which we never, It's kind of neat to see, and now part of that is your boy Truex, he stinks up that automatically because he'll just, I'll just fire up here with my non-colorful name and stuff. And, and he was running up front there for a while and then had some issues. Just kind of been the season in many ways.
Yeah.
Continuation of Bubba Wallace in the 45, young Gibbs in the 23. Didn't really notice Gibbs a whole lot in the race.
Not at all. No.
Which, you know what, as a young rookie will say, that's okay. Chastain was not a meathead. He did not get into it with Denny Hamlin. I thought he would.
Yeah.
I predicted that last week. Nope. Denny Hamlin was running up front, though.
Yep.
And having a good run. Toyotas in general.
We're running really good. Like Christopher Bell was up there. Kyle was up there for a while.
Yep. Kyle was running up there. And Christopher Bell. And what's his name? Oh, yeah. Bubba Wallace.
Yeah.
Oh, look at this. Bubba Wallace. Because it became the Bubba show for the second half of the race, the final stage.
Yep.
Basically. And I was like, I was rooting. I'm like, don't screw this up, because I'm thinking, he's got to do a pit stop too. Like, there's so many variables. We know, you hear noises and this and that, and
because he's one that's famous for that. When he gets up front, he just starts to what's going to go wrong. It's not what's going to keep what can I keep doing right. It's what's going to go wrong, right?
Exactly. And it came down to we had Danny Hamlin and Bell running them down a bit at the end of the race. I'll say a bit because it depended on traffic. Like it seemed like Denny and Bell were maybe a tenth faster. We'll say the last run of 30 laps.
Yeah.
But Bubba had the gap and he was able to pretty much maintain the gap for the most part until near the end they were getting close. And of course, I'm sure then, of course, Denny's going to let his driver win, Doug. That's what you do, Yeah. And Denny said post-race, if you think I'm going to let you beat me, no. And the way he said it, it was so that Tony Stewart way that I went, I believe you.
Well, yeah. Well, you think of that's 10 more points
in the next round, playoff, right?
Yeah,
exactly. He's in the playoffs.
Bubba is technically
for the owner's points.
The owner's points.
So interesting though on that.
The only thing I didn't understand what Denny said after the race was that he got loose and hit the wall. We didn't see him hit the wall.
He kissed the wall. It was like a Darlington stripe, and guys were doing that the whole thing. With Bubba winning in the 45 car, Doug, at Kansas.
Yeah, so I was looking that up as well. How many times has that happened?
Well, the last time, can you tell me, I'll just say the year. Can you get the year, the last time the same car number won both races at the same track with two different drivers?
Okay.
You have a guess on the year?
Can I pick a decade that say the 70s?
Okay. I will give you the decade. I bet you'll even guess the team.
Okay.
Because think about it. Generally, for the same car to win with two different drivers at a track, that means either somebody got fired, somebody died, or you're just one of those teams that's like, well, we'll just put this guy in it for a race.
Was it the 70s or the 80s? Or
the 70s.
70s?
Yeah.
The 88.
No.
Okay, Keith's saying the 21 team. Wood Brothers.
Because Keith's correct as always.
Yeah.
Wood Brothers did it at Daytona. They had, because AJ Foyt won the Daytona 500 and David Pearson won the Firecracker 400 in 72. Yeah. And it's just, I'm like, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Of course it was the Wood Brothers. Yeah. What other team, because they're just like, who's available? Who do we got in the Rolodex?
Mm-hmm.
We'll start with Andretti and end up at Zanardi. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, wasn't 63. Yeah, 1972. So, and that was the other thing. Well, Bubba only won it because he had Kurt's, dominant setup in the car, Doug. Dominant. Really? Because
Yeah.
Kurt wasn't dominant. He was good, but he wasn't dominant. Who's been dominant in a race in that car this year? I don't know, because we're now up to 18. That's right, 18 different winners this year.
Yeah.
It's turned into, I don't know. You get a trophy. You get a trophy. Everybody gets a trophy.
Bubba's talk afterwards, his interview afterwards, really, I started to really think about that. If you look back, who did he not thank in his interview?
I don't know. Much like Ty Gibbs, he pretty much thanked including the janitor.
He thanked the team. He thanked all the owners, the sponsors. He thanked the team, but did not mention Booty Barker.
By name, right?
By name. Just said my team. And then if you look back, if you look at when they went on the stage,
right.
Booty was like stage left.
Mm-hmm.
He was far out. He was on the phone, but he was stage far off left.
Was it Booty's first win as a crew chief in Cup?
No. Booty's first win was last year with Wallace at Daytona or Talladega.
Right. Yeah.
That's his second win. Both above the Wallace. This one not rain shortened.
Mm-hmm. Hence, yeah.
And I really liked him where he went off on on the haters and then was really. I kind of like that.
Yeah, I like that too. He's like, "Go ahead, write about me now," type thing. Yeah. Which was funny because I had Twitter open on Sunday, and Bubba trends every week on Twitter. And usually not for the best reasons.
No.
Because it's just people being idiots or whatever. And I never click on it, for that reason. But he was trending for the right reason this week. Harvick, apparently Harvick got back on Twitter. I don't know if you noticed that. He's just letting everybody have it, including, although, interesting, Twitter world, fire, because of last week with the announcement North Wilkesboro getting the All-Star race, Dale Jr., whose favorite pastime now, of course, like a lot of people, is late models. And they say, hey, we should run a late model race, as a companion event. And Harvick said, we are building a car together. So then all the Twitter for, Harvick's going to be, it's like, well, maybe Harvick's going to retire and just run an asphalt late model for Dale Jr.
Maybe until kids named.
Apparently, some modifications have been made to the cars to cut down on fires.
To the Fords.
Yeah, even though they're the same underneath.
One last thing on Bubba post race.
Yes.
On stage. Girlfriend is like freaking basketball player compared to him.
Hey, he's not super short.
She's like a good head taller. Like when they go to concerts, he stands in front of her.
He sits on her shoulders.
Yes, exactly. Yes. But yeah,
Bubba dates her just to bring her to the driver's meetings and makes her stand in front of people like Tyler Reddick. He's like, all I see is shoulder blades. That's all I see. Shoulder blades. Some of those guys, they'd be lucky to come up to her shoulder. Jeez.
Mm-hmm. But I thought it was a good race. And like I said, there was hardly any cautions at all.
Yep. Which I like. That's what I like.
Well,
and because it was that, well, we got enough fuel for 70 laps. And I'm like, the tires aren't going to last 70 laps because we were seeing that. Left rears. Which I like. The left rear is the new left front. It used to be left fronts when people get too aggressive with left fronts. Yeah. And now it's left rears. And that's, although it's amazing how many cars we saw retire due to flat tires.
Yes.
That's pretty sad. That's like Formula One style.
So next week here, going into Bristol.
Night race.
We have no, except for the owners. We've got one person, well, two people, because we got Bell, who's advanced, and Bubba, who's advanced on a win in the owners.
Yeah.
Nobody's advanced on a win for the drivers. I think so.
Nope.
And right now, Christopher Bell's the only one that's in.
You know what? I really hope Martin Truex wins at Bristol, because then we can actually go a full round in the playoffs without a playoff driver winning a race.
Well, there's Stenhouse too.
Stenhouse
right?
too. Yep.
But yeah, like, you know, and for a couple of those people,
the 17, possibly.
And Buescher, yeah,
fire,
right. But you know, but there's a couple of those guys who are down in the lower half. Like,
yep.
They're still only like 20 points out of being out of the playoffs, which is, you know, like that's.
Oh yeah, well, like
Elliott.
You know, is Chase Elliott. You know, he has to have a good race. Like, I don't think he has to win, but he has to have a good race.
I think everyone has to have a good race.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting, especially with the stage points and such, and tempers, and I hope it's hot. I hope it's hot, Doug.
Well, we've got 36 teams, 36 cars entered for the 40 spots.
Oh, imagine that.
So, you just have to be, for some of those guys, you just have to be one of the first 16, well, not be one of the first 16 to be out.
Good luck.
Right?
It's the way the cars are a little more fragile. The bodies are more forgiving, but the cars, you know, it's really easy to smack off the wall coming off the corner, you know, at Bristol. Or skid down, you know, and hit that inside wall. Like, it's really easy.
Yeah, and this week,
and again, Letarte didn't describe how bad the parts were, but he just started laughing when the one car came to the pits. You know, they took the time to take the wheel off. He just It was just like all the guts fell out. It says they pulled the wheel off. He's just like, "You're done. You're so done. You're not even putting the wheel back on that."
For in these 36 cars this weekend, Yaley's in the 15, Allmendinger's in the 16, and then Gibbs 23, and then Josh Bilicki is in the 77.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Do you have a prediction for Bristol?
I'll say Kyle Busch.
I'm going to say Tyler Reddick. Rim riding.
Yeah. But I think with Kyle Busch, with all the stuff behind him now.
This is true. Yeah, Kyle Busch and Tyler Reddick. How that just worked out.
Oh, yeah.
So either one of the teammates will win.
We think teammates. Possibly.
Well, you know, technically, you know, it depends on, you know, if Kyle Busch's start date is, say, December 1st, they may technically be teammates for a few weeks.
Maybe. Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah, he did. Yeah, his limo ran out of gas on his way to Dale. Dale out. He calls up Dale and he goes, "Hey, should I take the limo?" And Dale's like, "I don't care." Like, he didn't understand that he's got, you know, the old Boss Hog limo.
Yep.
Right? And he's just like, "I guess, sure." And then next thing, ran out of gas. Right. No one baffled. Probably gas gauge doesn't work. Oh, I should have enough to get on down Dale's place and back.
Yeah.
If not, you know, they just put some race fuel in it or something. You know, that'll be good.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. All right. So on that note, I don't think we have anything else. The big news.
The other thing, Keith mentioned it in the thing. We should have probably mentioned it right off the top. Jeremy Clements. Jeremy Clements. His appeal. He won his appeal with NASCAR.
Oh.
And everything has been reinstated.
So
it's up to NASCAR now to appeal if they want to.
So does that put him in the playoffs?
Well, all of his penalties have been rescinded.
So then he should be in the playoffs.
He should be in the playoffs.
Nice. Well, it was an easy appeal, really. They're like, "You got an illegal engine. Hey, you sealed it."
Yeah.
You sealed it.
Mm-hmm.
He is in. That's awesome. So, all right. Well, there we are. On behalf of Doug and which I just noticed your name's Corn Dog. On
Oh, I forgot to change it. I did the
just noticed that. Wrapping up the show on behalf of Corn Dog.
the cornhole show and just
Yeah, and Keith and the other 4 people that are watching. We got 5 people watching apparently. So there we are.
That's okay. Terry will watch on the replay and he'll figure it out 3 weeks from now. So it's all good.
Yeah. There we are. That's Doug. I'm Ben. You've been you. This has been NasCanucks. We need a sponsor.
Sure, yeah. Oh, see Marcus.
Where's... Oh, he's
right there.
And I know it.
In that corner. No, that corner.